So throughout the years during my YouTube career, a common question that I always seem to get every time I upload is, where is the best starter for Kalos? But with Kanto Pokemon. But after that, it's, do you like this Pokemon? Do you hate this Pokemon? Is Umbreon the worst Pokemon to ever be created? That one's one of the more common ones. And well, I've grown tired of those questions. And I've run out of ideas, so I'm gonna steal Aura's video. Which you should totally go check out, by the way, after my video, of course, because I'm more important, I'm better. If you leave, I'll friggin' kill myself. So with that in mind, I decided to do a video giving my personal opinion on every single Pokemon Gens 1 to 7, and we'll be continuing the series as more generations come by. But unlike Aura, who did one video on the entirety of Pokemon, I wanted to split the series up into 7 parts to talk about each generation to give each Pokemon their proper attention. Also, I want some of that sweet, sweet ad revenue, oh yeah. Today, of course, we are going to be exploring the generation that started it all. Generation 1, or as I like to call it, the good one. I don't know, I didn't think of anything. But before we start, there are a few ground rules that I want to lay down. Since I am going to be talking about all of the 151 Pokemon in Kanto, I'm going to have to shorten my explanations to just a few sentences to save time. Also, even though this doesn't really apply to this generation, it will apply to the future ones. I will only be taking into account the canon Pokemon, so Pokemon like Shadow Lugia or Primal Dialga, any of those kinds, are off the table. And to add more of a fun twist to this video, I will be grading each Pokemon on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. This will also help give further explanation as to where I stand with each Pokemon. And at the end, I will take the averages of the scores I give to all of the Pokemon and give each generation an overall score. Early prediction, I think I'm probably gonna have Gen 5 as the highest grade score, but who knows. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And with that being said, let's get started. Ah, Bulbasaur. It's honestly a perfect starter because it's cute and can appeal to both male and female audiences. I honestly love this Pokemon, it's adorable, so 10 out of 10. I love how the bulb on Bulbasaur eventually becomes a flower for Ivysaur, and it also avoids the common trope of middle stages being weird looking, so with that, it's a 10 out of 10. Kind of weird looking, but I like it, and its running animation in Let's Go is amazing. Plus, battle-wise, its Mega is pretty good too, so 9 out of 10. Best baby starter, don't at me, 11 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, kind of a weird middle stage, especially with the frickin' boner on its head, but it's not bad, so 6 out of 10. Do I really need to say anything? 10 out of 10. Good design, great in the anime, and it's adorable, 10 out of 10. I love the added ears and tail. It looks super cute, but at the same time menacing, and it lives for 10,000 years, so I gotta give it a 10. Looks strong, and is strong, but I'm not really a fan of Mega Blastoise's design though, but overall I do love it, although Charizard is better, so 9 out of 10. How can you really hate Caterpie? It's adorable, but simple, and was awesome in the anime too, so 8 out of 10. Kind of boring, but it's a cocoon, so what are you gonna do? 5 out of 10. Probably the best beginning bug Pokemon, at least design-wise, and I still cry for Ash's Butterfree, 9 out of 10. I always thought there was something off about this Pokemon, but I could never really put my finger on it. But it's aight, so 6 out of 10. Much better than Metapod. It looks more intimidating, plus, look, it's a tie. It's a little businessman, 7 out of 10. Menacing and cool, but also pretty weak, at least until the Mega showed up. Now it's pretty badass. Overall, 9 out of 10. It's a bird. And that's about it, 5 out of 10. Getting better, but still kind of basic, 6 out of 10. There we go, much better, and the Mega just looks awesome, but definitely isn't the best early bird Pokemon, 8 out of 10. Purple Rat, 5 out of 10. Fat Rat, but Hyperfang was pretty clutch in the beginning, so 6 out of 10. I think it's better than Pidgey, but still kind of boring, so 6 out of 10. Don't like it. Its face kind of pisses me off. 4 out of 10. Purple Snake. But I like it in the anime, and it's cool that Ekans is snake backwards, so 7 out of 10. Pretty much just a cobra, and the fact that it's spelled that way backwards is pretty cool, but I love the patterns on its hood and how it changes in some regions, so 8 out of 10. I mean, it's the mascot. You gotta appreciate how marketable it is, and it is really cute. 10 out of 10. Will always be in the shadow of Pikachu, but it is cool in its own right. But honestly, I'd rather have a Pikachu. 6 out of 10. It's adorable, and I love how it rolls up into a little ball, you know? 7 out of 10. I like it. It's pretty cool and pretty underrated too. 8 out of 10. Pretty good, but I could never really understand the basis of design, plus I kinda like the male version a bit better, so 7 out of 10. It's alright. I don't really have an opinion on Nidorina, but I find it kinda weird that it stands up, so 6 out of 10. I love Nidoqueen, but I could never really get over the chest, man. Like, it just doesn't look right to me, but it's still a very good design. 8 out of 10. I think you can understand why I like the male version better. It's freaking adorable. 8 out of 10. Better than Nidorina, and looks a lot better on all fours. 7 out of 10. One of my personal favorite Pokemon in the Kanto region. It's very versatile and intimidating too. 10 out of 10. I always got this Pokemon confused with Jigglypuff when I was younger, but I find it less annoying than it. Although, it's still not my cup of tea, so 6 out of 10. This one, though, is very annoying, especially once it got its fairy typing. I do not like this Pokemon. 4 out of 10. Very elegant and adorable. 8 out of 10. Cool backstory, love the shiny, and it reminds me of Naruto, which is pretty cool, so 9 out of 10. Annoying in the anime, annoying in Smash, annoying to look at, and it's a poor design. 3 out of 10. A lot less annoying to look at, and it's kind of funny how it just getting bigger makes it more appealing to me, but either way, 6 out of 10. This Pokemon makes me grateful that repels are a thing, and it's still very annoying, so 4 out of 10. I always found it weird that its mouth is as wide as its body, but I kind of like it. 6 out of 10. Pretty cute, and, you know, drugs. I guess that's funny. 7 out of 10. Ugly as shit, and I can imagine it smells pretty bad too, so I'd rather stay away from it. 5 out of 10. How did this come from Gloom? It's so much nicer now. 7 out of 10. It's kind of strangely adorable, and for some reason I always thought this thing was a crab, so 7 out of 10. Even though it's not good in battle, I freaking love it. It's a great design, and I love the origin of how the insect is controlled by the mushroom. See this video here for more info. 8 out of 10. I always thought this thing should have evolved into Butterfree, but it is pretty cute, so 7 out of 10. Awfully creepy looking. The googly eyes kind of scare me. 6 out of 10. Simple, kind of boring, but I do hope we find out what's under Diglett one day. 5 out of 10. The beginning of let's add more heads to a Pokemon and call it evolved. Not a fan. 3 out of 10. An icon and one of the best comic relief characters in the anime, and I love the whole cat and mouse dynamic with Pikachu. 9 out of 10. And like Raichu, Persian will always be in the shadow of Meowth, but I do like it better than Raichu, so 7 out of 10. Again, like most Pokemon that appear in the anime, I freaking love it, and if it weren't for Starmie, I would think Misty would use Psyduck as her ace. Plus, it's pretty adorable, so 8 out of 10. I always found it weird that Golduck is called Golduck when it's blue and Psyduck was more goldish color, but I mean, it's still pretty cool, but definitely not the best duck Pokemon. 6 out of 10. It's a good mixture of tough and cute, and I love its little snout. 7 out of 10. Even though the changes are slight to Mankey, I still really like Primate. Plus, it's a pig monkey. That's pretty damn dope. 8 out of 10. All around, a perfect Pokemon, and I think it's much better than its counterpart Vulpix. 10 out of 10. Absolutely love it. Wanna know why? Check out this video here. 10 out of 10. I know I've been saying this a lot, but it's freaking adorable. What can I say? Plus, I love the hypnotic spirals on its belly and how it ties into its origin. 9 out of 10. Kind of a step down from Poliwag, but it's still aight, so 7 out of 10. It kinda just looks like an angrier, bigger Poliwhirl. Not really a fan, to be honest. 6 out of 10. Kind of annoying at first because of teleport, and it's really useless, but once I finally caught one, I really fell in love with it, so 7 out of 10. It's great cause it can finally attack, and I love the Shufu mustache and spoon, but what's up with the squiggles on its crotch? I don't really get that. 8 out of 10. More spoons, more Shufu, great name, strong Pokemon, strong score. 9 out of 10. Pretty cool, kinda simple though. 7 out of 10. Where did the belt come from? But I gotta say, I love a man in Speedo, so 8 out of 10. More arms, less toes? Like, what's up with that? But in all seriousness, it's a really cool Pokemon, so 9 out of 10. Love it, and its lips and movements are very seductive, so how can I say no? 8 out of 10. Big step down, but I mean, those lips though, am I right? 6 out of 10. I love this Pokemon, always used one in my LeafGreen runs, and it's pretty funny with James in the anime, so 8 out of 10. I mean, what can I say, it's just a jellyfish. 6 out of 10. Underrated in terms of design and usefulness, and a real step up from Tentacle, so 8 out of 10. I love you, Brock, but no. 3 out of 10. Bigger no. 2 out of 10. Biggest no. Actually, you're alright. 7 out of 10. Awesome design, and one of my favorite shinies in the region. 8 out of 10. This is my girlfriend's favorite Pokemon, so no matter what, I'm gonna have love for this Pokemon. Plus, it's also improved on Ponyta, so 9 out of 10. Very derpy, but I like it. It's a classic Pokemon. 8 out of 10. Love Slowbro, but that looks nothing like a Shelter. Also, what the hell is going on here? It's at least one of the better looking inanimate object Pokemon, so 7 out of 10. More heads doesn't mean it's an evolution. 4 out of 10. I think it's alright, I just feel like it's an incomplete Pokemon, so 6 out of 10. Looks simple, but I love the resemblance to Kiwis and the Emus, so 7 out of 10. I know I said I don't like evolutions that just add more heads, but this one's alright, so 8 out of 10. Well, it's a seal, but it is adorable, so 7 out of 10. It's alright, I just don't really have an opinion on this one. 6 out of 10. It's really cool. A lot of people hate on this Pokemon, but I think it's very well done design-wise, plus it's my first shiny, so 9 out of 10. Even though the design doesn't change much, I still really like it. 8 out of 10. Plus Muck backwards is it's adorable, and I really love the fact that its tongue is sticking out. 8 out of 10. Love it, but I can't help but feel it looks just a little inappropriate. 8 out of 10. Simple, but pretty sleek, and I love the shiny, so 7 out of 10. I loved this Pokemon in the anime. I really wish Ash caught it, and it also is a big step up from Ghastly, so 9 out of 10. Probably my favorite Ghost-type Pokemon? I don't really know, I'd have to look at it. But I love the Gengar and Clefable theory, so 10 out of 10. It does look intimidating and cool, but at the same time, it's pretty weak, so 7 out of 10. This thing looks weird to me, and what the hell is going on with its lower body? I never understood that. 4 out of 10. This thing gave me nightmares as a kid, and reading the Pokédex entries now, I can see why. 3 out of 10. It's a crab, but I like it in the anime, so 6 out of 10. It's a bigger crab, but I like the design, and it was pretty clutch in the anime, so 8 out of 10. Angry Pokeball, 5 out of 10. Kind of angry reverse Pokeball, 4 out of 10. Plus explosion. Kind of boring, and it makes me hungry, so 6 out of 10. Derpy, and at the same time, pretty lovable. I will say, I love it a lot more though later on, 7 out of 10. I can't believe something as morbid as Cubone looks freaking adorable, but it does, 8 out of 10. Awesome, but like Executor, it gets better later on, 9 out of 10. I always thought the body looked kinda weird, but it's aight, 7 out of 10. Personally, I like Hitmonlee better, 6 out of 10. 2 out of 10. Great design, and I gotta say, it's got one of the best facial expressions, 7 out of 10. The personification of Los Angeles, and I know, I used to live there. Plus, it's probably my favorite poison type, so 9 out of 10. It's awesome, not really much else to say here, 9 out of 10. I can't believe they managed to make something better than Rhydon, but they did, and it's freaking amazing, 10 out of 10. It's alright. A bitch to catch though, 6 out of 10. Whenever I looked at this Pokemon, I always thought blue spaghetti. It's pretty cute though, but definitely needed an evolution, 8 out of 10. I used to like this Pokemon, at least until X and Y came out, 7 out of 10. Cool design, 8 out of 10. Love it, but it's kind of weak. I really wish Kingdra was in this gen, 8 out of 10. It's okay, the coloration does remind me of Koi Fish, so that's pretty cool, 7 out of 10. Kind of boring to be honest, 5 out of 10. Awesome design, awesome shiny, amazing cry, 8 out of 10. One of my favorite water types, but what the hell is up with its cry, 9 out of 10. Was never a fan of really humanoid Pokemon, and this is no different, 3 out of 10. Definitely one of the most badass Pokemon in Generation 1, no doubt, 10 out of 10. Haha, yeah, no, 2 out of 10. Love it. 9 out of 10. I think it's great, but Electabuzz is slightly better, 8 out of 10. It's one of my favorite bug-type Pokemon, and it gets even better with its Mega, 9 out of 10. In Red and Blue, this thing kicked ass, but the Fall from Grace was pretty hard, so 7 out of 10. I know it's useless, but how can you hate this thing? 8 out of 10. Can I take back what I said about Scyther being the most badass? Because, damn. I will say Mega Gyarados is kind of a disappointment though, 9 out of 10. Pretty awesome, and one of the most majestic Pokemon I've seen in this region, 9 out of 10. Thought it was dumb at first, but once I found out it was a failed Mewtwo clone, it became pretty damn cool. 8 out of 10. One of the few Pokemon that I think could realistically replace Pikachu as the mascot, plus it's pretty adorable, 10 out of 10. I like it, but it's definitely not my favorite evolution, 7 out of 10. Out of the 3 available in this region, this was my go-to evolution, 8 out of 10. I also like it, but it's by far the worst evolution, 6 out of 10. Cool origin, love the design, but it felt incomplete in Generation 1, so 8 out of 10. Until Twitch plays, I really didn't care about this Pokemon, but it is cute, so 7 out of 10. Look, I know it's Lord Helix and all, but the tentacles are freaking me out, dude. Not a fan, 6 out of 10. Very mysterious. I like it, 7 out of 10. I like it, but I'm getting some serious Predator vibes here, 8 out of 10. By far the best Gen 1 fossil Pokemon, 9 out of 10. One of my personal favorite Pokemon growing up as a kid, and it was very relatable, 10 out of 10. Very majestic, but very weak, 7 out of 10. The best legendary bird for sure, and my personal favorite, 9 out of 10. It's a rubber chicken, and it's on fire. It's pretty dumb, 4 out of 10. I like it, but it was so hard to level up, so 7 out of 10. Very cool, but again, I wish it didn't take so long to evolve, 8 out of 10. I hate how I always got it at the end of the game, but it is amazing, so 9 out of 10. A little overrated in my opinion, but it's still an icon, and Mega Mewtwo Y is amazing, 10 out of 10. It's the ancestor to all Pokemon, it's strong, adorable, and a little underrated in my opinion, so 10 out of 10. And finally, the average score that I got for every generation Pokemon is 7.25 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and become an Eryizo today. Also, if you did like this kind of video and want to see more on the other generations, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. If you want to check out the previous video I did, be sure to click the annotation on the left. If you want to see more Pokemon Let's Go videos, click the other annotation on the right. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.